Instant Family is a new family comedy directed by Sean Anders. If you don't know who Sean Anders is, he's the man who directed Daddy's Home and its sequel. This marks his third collaboration with Mark Wahlberg, who stars as one of the leads in this film. Also Rose Byrne. Rose Byrne is like the hot woman from the Insidious movie, and then she transformed and became like that hot, funny woman that's in every funny movie like ever since 2010. I'm not saying she's in every funny movie, but that's what the shit comes across as. I'm just saying. And also Isabella Moner is in this movie too. I mean, you've probably recognized her in a shit ton of other movies that have come out. She was in the last Transformers movie. It seems like every other month that chick is securing another bag. Like Hollywood's just throwing buckets of cash at this chick. She's playing Dora the Explorer next year too. Well, Instant Family is a movie about this married couple played by Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne. They decide one day that their life is missing a little something. Like they need a little bit of spark, a little bit more spice, maybe something to break up the monotony. They start looking into adopting kids. They go into the foster care system. They study it. They go through an 8-week class. And then at the end of it, they pick out 3 kids to adopt, or at least 3 kids to foster until the point where they get to adopt them. And these 3 kids are a handful. One of the kids, played by Isabella Moner, is actually a 15-year-old teenager. So yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. And so this movie is about foster parents and foster kids, and it's about them fostering each other until the point where they can actually adopt them. Now, I actually did a little bit of background research into this movie, into the director, and I found out that this movie and its screenplay are loosely based off of events from the director's own life. Yeah, I found out Sean Anders and his wife also once upon a time adopted 3 kids, and these 3 kids I'm pretty sure are close to the ages of the kids in this movie. In fact, there was a short video that played before my screening, and the director showed up and he was just kind of like, yeah, well, we took in 3 kids, we went into the foster care system, we did it, we adopted them, and the experience was very difficult, very emotional, but it was also very funny, and I wanted to turn it into a movie. And so here we are with Instant Family. He turned it into a movie, and it's a pretty enjoyable movie, guys, I'm not gonna lie. For one thing, Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne are really good in this movie. They have great chemistry as a married couple. You can tell the way they bounce dialogue off of each other that they probably are good friends in real life. I think that parents are going to get a kick out of this movie because Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne capture that feeling of new parents, or parents that are thrown into a new situation with new kids and they really have no idea what the hell they're doing. In that sense, there's a fish out of water element to the jokes in this movie that I think a lot of people are going to get a great kick out of. There's some really good humor with that. All of the kids are really cute at times and also pretty insufferable at other times, which I believe is what kids are. I'd actually say a lot of the good humor in the movie comes from the support group, because they go into the foster care system and then they have to study it and they have to go through this 8-week class and then they have to join the support group. 2 heads of the group are played by Octavia Spencer and Tia Carta, I think is her name. Some really funny moments with that, some great humor. I thought it was a really good touch to add the support group to the movie and show us a lot of scenes of these parents going to the support group, because it gives us a shared experience. It gives the parents in the audience a shared experience with the parents that are going through this, and it gives the parents in the movie in the support group a shared experience with the 2 main leads. While this movie does have a penchant for getting funny at the right moments, it also gets kind of dark and sad in some moments, because the foster care system is sometimes a dark and sad story, and this movie did a good job at stressing that these kids are like anybody else. You know, they need family, they need a support system, they need a place to call a home. This film captures some of the unspoken thoughts and some of the bad things that people think about foster kids. How foster kids sometimes have a negative connotation. Like, you look at foster kids and you're like, oh, well, they're damaged goods, or they're broken, or they're going to end up being drug addicts or something like that. And this movie did a great job at really hammering home how important family is, and you don't even think about it. Like, sometimes you might take your family for granted. You probably should just hug and kiss your family a little bit more after this movie, because it really stresses how lucky you are. Some of these kids have to go in and out of the system, and some of these kids age out and then they get into a whole bunch of other dangerous shit that might have been avoided if they had just had somebody to hold them back and say, no, I love you, you're not going anywhere. The movie does have its share of problems, though. For one thing, I do think some of the humor in the movie feels a little bit out of place. When I say out of place, I mean that there are some times where the humor feels kind of tone deaf, where it feels like they just put a joke in the scene and it didn't really need to have that joke. There are a couple of scenes where the audience that I watched this screening with didn't really laugh at a joke that was said by somebody on screen, and I'm just sitting there in my seat and I'm just like, well, why? You didn't need to put a joke right there. And being that it is a family comedy, there's definitely going to be some predictable moments in here. You're definitely going to be able to see the shoe being about to drop before it actually drops. It's nice to know that the director puts so much attention to detail into the foster care system and how it's portrayed in this movie. And it's also great to know that he's basing this off of personal experience, because I think you can really see a director's passion shine through when he has a more personal attachment to it. While the movie is watchable, it's kind of harmless, and I'm going to say it's slightly above average and put it in the golden age for Man of Steel. Those are my thoughts on Instant Family. Stay tuned for more videos. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.